Hello, and welcome to Marriage Unchained, the art of one flesh, where saving marriages, saving families, and saving souls is the flavor of the day. Now, let's join our host and author of Marriage Unchained, Catholic Alpha Radical, Jerry Jacobs Jr.
Welcome to Catholic Alpha Radical Live, where I help you fix your Catholic marriage. I've coached and helped hundreds of men in their marriages, and now I want to help you. Call 313-RADICAL now. That's area code 313-RADICAL, and ask me anything on tough marital issues, such as what to do when she's asked for divorce, what to do when you have a mutual agreement of separation but you didn't want it, what to do when your wife is cold and distant, what to do when your wife is having an affair, what to do when your marriage is bad, boring, lukewarm, and passionless, what to do when you engage in a marital embrace less than once a month, what to do when you sleep in separate bedrooms, what to do when she has left the home with or without the children, what to do when you're divorced but didn't want it. Call 313-RADICAL. That's area code 313-723-4225. That's area code 313-723-4225. Again, call 313-RADICAL right now for answers to intimacy problems, communication problems, prayer and spiritual warfare problems, authentic masculinity problems, aka how to man up. So sit back, relax, take a chill pill, and get ready to rock. But don't duck. Can you feel it? Catholic Alpha Radical coming at you now. Hello, hello, hello. Hey. Welcome to Catholic Alpha Radical Live, the podcast that helps you fix your Catholic marriage, while also giving you winning tactics for marriage problems, girlfriend problems, and intimacy problems for men. But moreover, my main mission is just to keep you out of divorce court. And where Marriage Unchained, the art of one flesh, divorce combat coaching is the flavor of the day, while also helping men understand marriage and courting, not dating, in the Catholic faith. Why? Because dating is for sex and courting just is for marriage. In this 124th episode, what is a sexless marriage and what are the causes? Part 2. Plus live calls from you, answer your marriage and crisis questions. So get in that queue for some resolution to your marriage confusion. Quote of the day, quote, "To be an infallible lover, the first thing you must recognize that sex is and must always be holy. It must make you holy. It must make your beloved holy. It must lead you to him who is holy." End quote. Gregory J. Popcak, PhD, book, Holy Sex, a Catholic Guide to Toe Curling, Mind-Blowing, Infallible Loving. Bam. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me to help you in yours. Get live Catholic marriage help Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, for some resolution to your marriage confusion. Okay, y'all, here we go. But first, real quick, I want to apologize for starting late, man. Technical issues, man. Internet, dude, what you gonna do? Lucky I got 2-3 backups. So one goes down, but it takes time to set up the other one. And you don't really know what's going on until you actually try. That's why if you saw 2 broadcasts today, because I started one and the other one, and it wasn't working out, so I had to stop it. And once you stop the broadcast, you have to start a whole new thing. So thank you guys for showing up still. I really appreciate this. That shows that you are very loyal, and as I am loyal to you. Also, the next real quick thing is starting next week. I'm going to, there's almost a 90% chance that I'm going to go 3 days a week for the shows. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I think I'm going to move to 6 p.m. Eastern. The reason why is I don't want things to start interfering with helping my clients, and so I think this will help better. And that is really the gist of that. So, but the replays will always still be available. So if you can't catch the show live, then you will be able to catch it on the replay in the evenings after the 6 o'clock show, which is 3 o'clock on the West Coast. So anyway, let's get started. Let's get away from that boring stuff and let's get to the good stuff. So the good stuff is, as promised, today's radical rant. What is a sexless marriage? Reasons my wife and I are not making love anymore. Sexless marriage causes, part 2. And we covered part 1 yesterday. So if you missed that show, then you can always go to my, you can either go to Rumble, or you can go to YouTube, or you can't really go to my site to catch the previous day's shows because I don't put them there, because when I do is I put all the shows like a week behind, because I do them live, and then I have my assistant put them up on or the blog, but they're all shaved down and that kind of stuff. But if you want to see the show like yesterday and learn the rest, get the rest of the things from yesterday, the episode from yesterday, then all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel, Catholic Alpha Radical, and you'll see a lot of live shows. I've made up a lot of travel rooms since I started doing this 5 days a week. Okay, so today we're going to cover part 2. So the thing about it, here's what we're going to talk about. What many don't understand is that most times a sexless marriage is thus the result of many other problems that are going on. So most people don't really realize that if you have a sexless marriage or you have intimacy problems, most of the time it's not what you think. That is not the problem. Most of the problem is the marriage is in trouble. But people don't really realize that, or they refuse to see it. Doesn't really matter. It is what it is. But the main thing to understand is, when I have men come to me, I try to get them inform them that, you're having sexual problems, but that's the cause of the root of your marriage not going the way it's supposed to be. So the moral of the story is, if you want better lovemaking, you got to get everything else right first, because lovemaking is usually the first thing that goes when the marriage is not the way it's supposed to be. And the thing about it is, Satan, he works very, very slow. So you don't even realize it sometimes. You look up, you're making love, we'll just say 3 times a week or whatever. Then it goes to 2, then 1, then like, oh man, then before you look up, you ain't had sex in a month or something. So you just got to realize how this thing works. The other thing is, it's important. Intimacy is the second most important thing in our marriage. And it is. Intimacy outside the bedroom, intimacy inside the bedroom. Those things are the second most important thing in your marriage. You have to cultivate that as a man. You cannot allow that to go, because the reason it's the most important thing, second most important thing in marriage behind prayer, is because of the emotional closeness that's so valuable to your beloved wife. Okay, and if we don't understand that, we get our priorities messed up. And as men, once our priorities get messed up, then everything gets kind of chaotic. So after that, and without marriage and without intimacy, our marriage will be lackluster. It can lead to a mediocre marriage. It can lead to worse yet, in the divorce or annulment. Last night, I had a lady comment. I had a lady comment on my video talking about, what I was saying was toxic and stuff. You know how people are. They split that. They start spouting that narrative from the world. Oh, they don't even know their faith, and they're trying to tell me, I'm trying to help people, and first thing they do, they don't think, oh, you're just talking toxic, and how can you say that you shouldn't have children? You're saying children should be below the God and the shouldn't. No, I'm saying children should be, yes. She said, you're saying children should be below God and the married couple. That's crazy. You should be putting your kids to be first above everything. Then this other knucklehead dude come talking about, yeah, man. If my wife ever thought about putting my kids, me above my kids, I'd divorce her. See how crazy that is? Man, if you make your kids God, that's why the divorce rate is the way it is. People putting their kids above God, above their husband, above their wife. Man, kids are not God. Kids are human persons that need direction and guidance and love. And so basically, you're telling me that I asked them, I said, so you're trying to tell me your kids want to be priority number one and have a horrible family instead of having a mother and father together that's married in the same house going to church. So that's what you're saying. Because that's what's going to happen if you elevate your children above everything else, and this is what I mean. And intimacy is the same way. People get on me because I go, well, no, I take that back. A lot of people don't say anything about when I say this. The intimacy is most important thing in your marriage. But people don't like it because when I say it, they don't hear the first part. It's like Ephesians 5, right? Verse 21 or 22, I forgot which one when people say, when the verse says, St. Paul goes, wives submit to your husband, right? But nobody hears the one, I think if it's right before that, right below it, that goes, as Christ, as Christ submitted to the church and died for her. Like the husband must submit to Christ as Christ did to the church and die for her. But see, nobody sees that verse, do they? All they see is women submit to their husband, but nobody sees the part where what St. Paul's talking about. Yeah, she submits, but she submits to a man who is holy and is as of Christ and is willing to die for her. But see, that's what Satan does. Pulls the stuff that twist things around. And this is why I don't listen to people that quote scripture. I never listen to people that quote scripture. You know why? Because they only know 5 or 10 scriptures. And then what they do is every situation in the whole world that has ever been, they use one of those 5 or 10 scriptures to quote. That's not knowing the Bible. You don't know the Bible. Just because you can quote scripture does not mean you know the Bible. Okay, first of all, the Bible was made after Christ. So basically, what's more important, Christ and his church or the Bible? You gotta kind of, understand the Catholic Church knows what it's talking about. So anyway, that's why intimacy is so important. Intimacy is the second most important thing in marriage. And if you let it go, you will quickly see that you and your wife are in a mediocre marriage. It's indifferent. There's no passion. There's no fire. And then if you don't include God in that with prayer before that, you'll see everything just kind of slides from there. So what we're going to do, so real quick, we are going to define a sexless marriage. Okay, and there are 2 levels. So the first level is, what is a low sex marriage? So a low sex marriage is defined as you and your beloved make love an average of less than once per week. So that's bad. So that's bad. That means that you and your wife can't even, out of all the hours, all the minutes, all the days in the week, you can't take 1 hour or 2 hours out to make love. You can't do that. Right? When you think about that logically, already you can kind of see that does not make sense, does it? Okay. So an average of less than once per week. So then severe. So the definition of the second level tier is a sexless marriage is defined as making love on average of less than once per month. So that means that you and your wife, out of all the minutes, all the hours, all the days, all the weeks in a month, you can't find 1 hour a week, and that's a minimum to make love, to be intimate with each other, to show each other you care, to build closeness, to build a future together. That's pitiful. That's pitiful. We signed up to say that we're going to love that person forever. So what does that mean? That means we have to give ourselves to each other even when we don't want to. Even when we don't want to. That's our duty as a wife. That's our duty as a husband. It is because when you start interfering in procreation, your marriage starts to go down. When you interfere in procreation, because that's the main reason that we are all creatures and that we are here is to send souls back to God for eternity in the beatific vision. That's why you're here. Get over it. That's why you're on this earth. That's it. Because God didn't need to have creatures. He didn't. He was fulfilled in himself. He was fulfilled. The Trinity, it didn't need us. So God loved us so much that he decided to make creatures. Why? So that those creatures can create other creatures to send to him to spend time in the beatific vision for eternity and share his happiness. And people are so broken that they can't even understand that little bit. He's trying to make me have all these babies. I am not a baby machine. I am not a baby machine. I am in command of my own life and my own future. Yeah, sweet. Well, you got 3 choices at the end of your life on your future. Heaven, purgatory, or hell. And guess what God's going to give you? The one you asked for. And when you talk like that, you're on the side of hell. You've got to understand, if you say you love Christ, if you say you love God, then you have to be, is the true test of that is obedience. And you're not being a baby machine. What you are being is a woman and man of holiness and love, and spreading that love throughout the world and throughout time. We have been given the godlike power of bringing other souls into the world, not into the world, into the universe. And those souls never die. The child that you had, those children that you had, those souls never die. They live forever. Sure, the body doesn't live forever, but the soul does. That's why those people who think that, when I die, I don't have to believe in God because God's full of crap. I believe in God. I do whatever I want. At the end of my time, I'm just going to go off to the oblivion anyway, into darkness. So what difference does it make? See, that is complete ignorance. Why? And the rebuttal that I always have to that is, if that is true, then why are we going through all this pain? Why, for 100 years, do we go through all this pain and suffering? It doesn't matter how much money you got or don't have. You still go through a lot of pain and suffering. What is all that for? Is it luck, bad luck, good luck? Anybody that believes in luck, that's another ignorant thing. Nothing is about luck in this universe, in this world. Nothing is about luck. It's all about the grace of God. And because if you start thinking things are luck, then that means that's an excuse to say, well, I don't have no control over nothing, right? Well, it's just bad luck, man. It's bad karma, But when you understand the world for what it really is, that there's a supernatural world of God, of Satan, the angels, the demons, the saints, when you understand all of that and that we're creatures and we have the opportunity to be more than creatures, to be in front of God for eternity, then your whole perspective changes on the world. It just changes. It just changes. As long as the government, the powers that be, the one world government and Satan can keep you stupid and dumb and ignorant and sinful, hey, they got you. They got you. This is why they don't want us talking about the things that I talk about, or a lot of Catholics and Orthodox Christians talk about. That's why they don't have us on the courthouse steps. That's why they kick you out of the schools. That's why they don't want you talking against any kind of homosexuality or transgender or pornography or masturbation or any of all that stuff, because they don't want you. They want you to stay in. They want you to stay in yourself. They want you to stay around in yourself. Only focus on yourself. As long as you focus on self, guess who you're not focusing on? God. And if that's a demon, I can get you to focus on anything but God. I got your soul. I got your wife's soul, and I got your kid's soul. They're easy, because once I got you as the head of the home, everybody else in the house is easy. Yep. Thank you for that one. Okay, so that is sexless marriage. So what's the solution to a sexless marriage? Well, there are a lot of them, but the first thing you've got to understand is the causes of a sexless marriage, and moving to eliminate those in your marriage. Like I said yesterday, I have an article that this show is based on. It's called The Agony, the Sexless Marriage, the Agony, the top 24 reasons for intimacy anguish in your marriage. And if you want to read that article, all you got to do is put it in. Like I said yesterday, just put it in Google. It'll come right up. Come right to my site. That's a very popular article. Okay. So next, there are 3 parts to a sexless marriage. The problems that I've divided them into: the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. Yesterday we covered the emotional problems for a sexless marriage, and today we're going to cover the part 2, which is the physical problems. Okay. So that being said, we will be right back after the break, and we are going to rock this. Bam! If you're getting value, I'll be right back, didn't I? We running late today, y'all, so I've got to try to run things along. So that being said, here we are. As I promised, again, we will cover the second category, the cause of a sexless marriage that contributes to the causes, the physical. The effects of a sexless marriage are devastating, but for a wife, it is even more so. For example, many wives are bored or resistant to the marital embrace because of a lack of longevity, which means what? When I say longevity, that means the sex session is too short. You can't be making love to your wife and y'all done in 5 minutes. Your wife that's her body, her soul, her mind, her heart. That ain't happening. Sure, when you're young and you're 15 or 18 or 20 and you're married and all that kind of stuff, and you're running around like jackrabbits, maybe that might work for a minute. But even that, as you get older, 20, 25, 26, 30, 35, 40, 50, and such, you start moving along in your marriage, you start to realize that your wife needs more than just a quickie. Quickies are a waste of time. They really are. Why? Because you guys can't explore each other. You can't learn the mysteries of each other. You can't be closer and near and love and really understand what each of you needs if you're only making love 15, 20 minutes. Okay? And I don't mean foreplay. All right? Next, another thing about wives is their pain, inhibitions, and trauma. You got to understand the reason I talk about the wife in the marital embrace so much is because men, we get satisfied easily, and women, the sex is about women and about wives and about God. That's what it's about. Because men, we get satisfied very easily. We are fulfilled very easily in the sexual realm. Women aren't. And so the reason you bring God into it is because God helps you and your wife and him, when you make love, come together and create a small trinity. And so you get the grace, the beautiful grace when you make love to do the things that I just talked about, okay? About the mysteries of each other, about understanding each other, about your wife knowing that you truly love her, that you are not leaving her, that you are totally all in, okay? And so your job as a husband is to get rid of all your wife's past pains and trauma so that you can bring forth that sacred, beautiful soul of your wife, that when you present her before Christ, she is blemish free. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it is. That's Ephesians 5, verse 26, 27, something like that. Okay. telling you, man, this stuff is the bomb if you really get into it and understand it. Okay. Next, several deep and emotional pain and built up anxiety and anger. That is what can happen to your wife. If your wife is not sexually fulfilled as a woman, she will be angry. She'll always be anxious. She will be unhappy. She will be unfulfilled. And depending on her natural personality, if your wife is a naturally sweet person, then she won't be as loving. If your wife is a naturally aggressive person, she will be more aggressive without being sexually fulfilled. Stop thinking like the world and start thinking like God and understanding what sex really is about. Okay? There's a reason. If you believe in God, then you got to know, okay, why did God make the woman like that? That's all you got to ask to know what I'm saying is right. If a woman could be satisfied like a man in 5 seconds, then I wouldn't be talking like this. Women are emotional. They are receivers. It is very important that you understand for sex, for them, it means a lot more than just a quick roll in the hay. Sure, they think it's fun, but most of them don't even know their own bodies. They don't even know what they need. They really don't. Sure, they'll try to tell you what they need, but they don't know. They know when they have it. They know when they have it. And even then they don't know, because you as her husband can see that my wife is happy. You can see that she's fulfilled. You can see these things. This is why I teach you to observe your wife 24/7. 24/7. You might say, Danger, that's a lot of work. No, it ain't. It's not a lot of work. When you consider the alternative of divorce and annulment and your kids and family broke up, matter of fact, that's a deal. Hey, that's a deal, right? Okay, so let me start moving along. So here we go with category 2 of the physical. So category 2 is the physical of the top reasons for a sexless marriage. So number 12. So I'm going to continue on. So number 12 of category 2 is genital pain. Physical is a cause of a sexless marriage. Now, this is actual pain experienced upon penetration. The pain is real and not imagined. Okay, so like, especially when your wife reaches menopause, right? What'll happen is, like, she loses her hormones, and so her clitoris, things around her vagina, all those things the skin starts to thin out. It starts to be painful to the touch of your hand or anything like that. And so there are hormone replacement therapy things that you can do, that your wife can do that can help her with that. But a lot of women don't like taking that stuff. But the main thing is, man, if your wife is actually complaining about pain and stuff, you as a husband, you should really try your best to understand that and really try to help her in that area, okay? And be, be considerate in that area and to help her figure out. Because a lot of times women don't really know a lot of stuff. They really don't. But I think it's my job as a husband is, if I love my wife, I should help her and know these things and help her find things out too. Not just be waiting around, okay? Number 13, the husband has a lack of sexual stamina. So this is another reason for a sexless marriage is you're only, as a husband, you're only able to perform in short periods, if at all. So sexual stamina means longevity. You know, like sometimes, like if we eat a lot of, we drink a lot of caffeine, a lot of power drinks, and stimulants and stuff like that, or we on drugs, we do drugs like cocaine and stuff like that. What happens is the heart rate rises, and then the heart rate has to rest when you take stimulants. And so if you're making love and you've had caffeine all that day and you're making love after 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, your penis goes down, that's not erectile dysfunction. That is that your heart is at rest. So when your heart goes at rest, the heart starts to beat slower. And guess what? Your penis runs on blood. And so if your heart runs slower, then that means the blood is not moving as fast. And so that causes your erection to fall. All right. Next, number 14, the cause of a sexless marriage is the husband has a loss of his sexual hormones. So your hormones are valuable. You must learn how to hold on to them. So all of your hormones are in your semen. And so if you lose those, you're not gonna be able to perform like you're supposed to. You're gonna be lethargic. You're not gonna feel your gonads. You're not gonna feel yourself. And if you feel blah down there all the time, then that means you have a lack of hormones. And so that means that you need to learn how to replace those and keep those up to par. Okay, number 15, the husband has a low sex drive. So that's another reason for a sexless marriage. You think it's always the woman. It's not always the woman. A lot of women want to make love, even if they're in menopause. They want to make love to their husbands, but their husbands can't because he's got low sex drive. Okay, so your desire should be on demand and frequent. Your wife should never be denied or have to wait for you to be in the mood for sacred intimacy. Okay, so if you have a low sex drive, that means, again, that your hormones are low. That also means that, it's harder for you to get an erection and things like that. Some men are just like that. All right. So number 16, no sex drive at all can cause a sexless marriage for a man and a woman. No matter if you are 18 or 108, your drive should always be present and available. People do not understand. This guy commented on my video talking about, well, what you talking about that you should have sex at least once a week or twice a week at a minimum is not true to be close with your wife. Okay, again, that's a stone cold lie. It's a stone cold lie, man. You can't, if you just understand your wife and yourself and your married life and God, you have to maintain a certain amount of emotional closeness. And when you make love, that is what that does. It's called the unity of the spouses. There's 3 reasons that God created marriage. 1, for procreation, which I've talked about today a little bit. 2 is the formation and education of your children in the Catholic faith. The 3rd reason he created marriage is for what? The unity of the spouses. One flesh, to be as one, to create children, to be an example to the world of what marriage should and could be in greatness. So if you guys aren't making love, how are you going to show that? Because if you're not making love, you walk around, you ain't going to want to hold hands, you ain't going to want to talk really that much. You're not going to show that happiness and glow that married couples show that are having great marriages. You're not going to be intimate with each other outside the bedroom. So that's going to be inside the bedroom. It's going to be worse. We have to learn, stop being lazy and stop giving excuses because we're old. We're not supposed to be doing stuff. That is not true. We are not supposed to be sick and walking around in wheelchairs and walking around with walkers and walking around in these motorized carts that you see everybody riding around in. We're not supposed to be like that. We're not. And for some dude that doesn't know Adam from Eve, comes talking about, well, me and my wife are in a good marriage and blah, blah, blah. That's a lie. You in a marriage, but it ain't good. It's mediocre. People misrepresent a good marriage or a great marriage with a mediocre marriage. People think just because we're not having marriage problems or we're not in divorce court or my wife or I don't want a divorce or separation, that we're in a pretty good marriage. That's not true. That's not true. It's not. And so we have to understand that marriage is not meant to be like a mundane job. It's not. It's supposed to be exciting and passionate. It's supposed to be loving and caring so that our kids look at us and go, wow, that's the kind of marriage I want. I want a marriage like my mom and daddy. They just love each other so much and they spend time together and they love being around each other and they go on date night and they have great conversations and they talk with us and they invite us into their lives. And our whole family is just growing and just so prosperous in love and with God. Dude, what more could you ask for? Oh, man, you just talking crap because my wife and me, we got a great marriage. Whoa, 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 whoa. We ain't got to have sex. That ain't true. Man, stop making excuses. People have this great thing where they love making excuses when they don't want to do something, when they want to remain lazy, when they want to remain weak. And that's men, we cannot afford to be like that anymore. That is what Satan wants us to be. Just roll over and die. roll over and die. Is that what you want to be? If you're 50 years old, you got 50 years of life left. Is that what you want to be for 50 more years? Come on, man. I know I don't. Okay. Number 17, unable to achieve or maintain an erection, which is erectile dysfunction. Again, this is self-explanatory. So basically, man, you've got to understand that if you have erectile dysfunction, which is what? For some reason, physically, I am unable to create or maintain an erection, which means what? I cannot make sacred love to my beloved. And the way I say around that is this. Most men that have erectile dysfunction have a physical ailment. They have high blood pressure, or they have diabetes, or they have heart problems, or lung problems, or kidney problems, or whatever. And basically, they got to take all these medications. So medications are what? Medications are toxic. Okay, they're toxic to the system. You put toxicity in your body, all of that stuff gets into the blood. The blood does what? Your penis runs off blood. So guess what? The toxicity runs through your heart, through your lungs, through your kidneys, through your pancreas, through your through every other organ in your body, including your sexual organs. And so what happens is you become very sensitive, which means you can't control yourself when you're making love, which is I talked about as a problem of sexless marriage. The erectile dysfunction. The thing about all of this stuff is, man, it could be done. It could be taken care of. If you have arthritis, if you have inflammation, that stuff right there can cause erectile dysfunction. And so what do guys want to do? They don't want to do the work of eating right. Every guy I talk to, oh man, I got a good diet. You do? Oh, really? Oh yeah, man. I eat fruit. I eat salad. I don't hardly eat no meat. I just, I don't hardly eat. Man, first of all, if you eating fruit, what is that? What is fruit full of? Sugar. Sugar causes what? Inflammation. Inflammation causes what? Pain. Pain is what? I don't want to make love because I'm in pain. Dude, we have been sold a bill of goods, gentlemen. We have been sold a bill of goods about even the foods we eat. The government and business people are not going to tell you, people that own McDonald's and KFC, well, I love KFC. I'm sorry. Burger King, people that sell potato chips, people that sell Coke and Pepsi, they are not going to tell you don't buy my product. The government is not going to tell you that. You know why? Because that's money. They're not going to do that. That's why it's up to you to learn for your family. Listen, all my kids grew up. I'm a big dude. I am not going to lie. I'm 280, 290, 300, something like that. I done forgot. But I don't take no medications. I don't take anything like that. I've lost a lot of weight. But my point of what I'm saying is, the reason I'm not sick is because I learned how to eat. It was too late. I wish I knew this when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, when I was a young adult. I wouldn't be this big. But it is what it is. So what I'm telling you is these companies, it's up to us to control what we eat. I go to the doctor all the time, and they can't believe, my wife can't believe it. And my wife ain't taking nothing either. Well, she has asthma, so she takes an inhaler. But even that is rare. But I go to the doctor, they can't believe that I don't take nothing. Because it's what I eat. Because I'm not sitting there eating sugar 7 days a week. Sugar is toxic. It's toxic to your system. It's not a matter of if you're going to get sick, it's when you're going to get sick. People eat sugar 3 times a day, carbohydrates and sugars, which is the same thing. They eat carbohydrates and sugar and take medication 7 days a week, 3 or 4 meals a day, and snacks. And you think you're not going to be sick as you grow older? Your body is very strong, and your body is very resilient. But eventually it will say, that's enough. I can't take it no more. That's why you see skinny people die. That's why you see people, kids with cancer. It's what we put in our mouth. It's not bad luck. Kids don't get cancer because it's bad luck. Kids get cancer because their mom and daddy won't feed them right. Okay? We get diseases and stuff because of what we put in our mouth. That's the truth. If you ask a doctor to be right down straight up with you, he will tell you that. If he's any kind of doctor, he'll be up true. But you got to make him tell you, because they are trying to have a livelihood. They want you to take the medications and listen, doctors, that didn't start like that. Used to be doctors really were like healthy naturalists trying to get you to do right, But what happened is, in our society today, like we can't even, like my podcast, people come in and out of my podcast for an hour. They can't stop. If I'm not saying in 5 seconds, if I'm not saying what they want to hear, they're out of here. So guess what? Doctors are the same way. They realized that, okay, the people ain't gonna come see me if I don't stop the pain right now. If I don't stop the pain like right now in 10 seconds, they're not gonna come see me. They're gonna go see a doctor that's gonna give me what I want. So doctors, the chemical companies, they started doing what? Making medications. So they give you the medication stops your pain in 30 minutes, and there you go. So for the rest of your life, you take medications. Look at our society. People on our phone. They on the phone. Right now, the most popular videos on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook are videos that are between 21 and 34 seconds long. You know why? Because people can't have more attention span than that. They can't have no more attention span than that. So what happens is business people give you what you want. A doctor is a businessman. A potato chip person is a businessman. Pepsi is a businessman. So we can't go by what we see in media and on marketing and stuff. And I don't blame the business people. I really don't. They're trying to make a living. If you don't want my product, don't mess with my product. You don't have to eat my potato chip. But I'm not going to stop selling it because, it's bad for you. Well, it's not bad for you if you eat it moderately. Right? But of course today we're so empty inside. There's no God around. So we're so empty. So we got to have that whole bag of chips. Right? We got to have that whole big old 2 helpings of chili cheese fries with chili on it. Right? And we got to go have 2 or 3 hamburgers at McDonald's because we're empty inside. And so that is what I'm trying to say. Erectile dysfunction is the same way. You can cure your erectile dysfunction on your own if you just want to take the time and do it right. But see, guys, what they go do? Go get the blue pill. Well, this pill, I can get an erection in like 5 seconds. And last, but then the pill's bad for you. It's toxic to your system. So anyway, that's all we have for today. On the next show, we'll cover category 3, which is the spiritual cause of a sexless marriage. And today, I'm glad you guys hung out with me. We had a little technical problems, as we always do, it seems like. But we will be back for our conclusion. Again, thank you for hanging out. Bam. Let's talk about your Catholic marriage problems. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. Live streamed on the Catholic Alpha Radical Facebook page and CatholicAlpha.com. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. All right, we are back. And just to get more that and like I was finished my thought on doctors and stuff, and psychiatrists and stuff that give out medications and stuff. You know, man, like I said, they didn't used to be like that. Doctors didn't used to be. They really tried to help you, and really doctors do want to help you. But when you come in, they got this pill, and they know if they say, well, just eat this and eat red, they know that nobody listens to them on that. And so what do they just do? They give you the pill, which is really in the end is worse for you. But doctors, they want to help you too. So if you want your pain immediately relieved, go to the doctor and they'll give you something to immediately relieve your pain. If you're willing to wait and let that and heal naturally, let your body heal you, a doctor will help you do that if you tell them. But most doctors, man, they'll just tell you, look, man, you know, they assume that you want that pain. Like, really, what doctors are really supposed to be really meant for is trauma. It's trauma. So you get in a car accident and you're bleeding internally, then, oh my God, you can't take a week to heal. I mean, you to get help, you gotta go to the emergency room and you gotta get that taken care of now. Or you break your arm or something like that, or you get cut by a knife and your lung is pierced. I mean, you can't sit around and go, okay, body, heal me. No, that's what doctors really are for, you know, for the trauma. But on a day-to-day stuff to prevent you from getting cancer and diabetes and arthritis and all that kind of stuff, a lot of doctors know how to help you heal, man, without medication. If you just tell them that's what I want to do, you know, doctor, how can I heal this without taking all this medicine and stuff? They'll help you. And if they can't, believe me, there's a doctor out there that can. You just got to find them. Okay. So with that being said, thank y'all for hanging out today on the Catholic Alpha Radical Live Show. And as we're going to end, as we always do, with a quote from Pope Benedict XVI, which states, society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. So go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is upon you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle. Thank you for listening in today. If what you heard helped you in any way and you would like more personal attention, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior marriage coaching. And remember to join the Catholic Alpha Radical Live podcast as a caller or listener every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. To join as a caller, dial area code 313-RADICAL. To join as a listener or view the live stream, visit the Catholic Alpha Radical Live Facebook page or visit CatholicAlpha.com for Catholic marriage help that actually works. Bam.